So the big question is this: how do investors like us who don't have a PhD in finance or millions to start investing, how do we grow our bank accounts to build real savings and retirements and yet still have the time to do what we really love? That is the question, and this podcast will give you the answer. Hey guys, John Gordon here. Welcome to the Stock Market Series podcast. Super excited today to talk about one of the things that I think fundamentally will shift the way that anybody looks at team building, at business growth, and how you can use this to seriously increase your return on investment, your assets, your earnings. I mean, every single point of a reliable business, I think, comes from this single skill, and that's the ability to have strong social skills. Now listen, guys, social skills. These are things that, seriously, aren't taught in school. There are particularly few lectures on it. You know, everyone's worried about selling stuff, and I've gone to so many lectures where it's different personality types and how to sell people, and dude, that's cool, but how do you create long-lasting connections with a team that's focused on an overarching goal, and then achieve that by having total unison and harmony with those people? Because that is the powerful way that you can have the desired impact in the marketplace that you want. Anything you want is right there for the taking. If you can get a team on board with it, and have everybody focused on the unique ability to work towards it, right? So if you need that, if you want that to happen, right, and you want this change in your life, it all comes down to this ability to create massive, lasting impact based almost exclusively on social skills, right? So you want to get people together, and especially if you're starting out, it's this idea to suddenly drop his time and invest his assets of knowledge and obviously his assets of time in your business, in your company, in your idea, right? No matter what you're doing, take the word coder, replace it with any single person that can help you scale your business. Maybe it's an accountant. Maybe it's somebody that would just help you get your life on track. Maybe it's a coach, right? How can you get these people to work with you at very minimal cost or at gratis until certain percentages or business metrics are met, and then they'll receive a reward based on the actual impact that they have, the investments that they make, and subsequently the value that they bring on a percentage basis. And the answer and the secret to that, and the secret to creating so much long-term business success, all comes down to your individual ability to go out there and create strong social skills. Now let me tell you, most of you guys know this, but I remember kind of one of my first things that helped me start to establish strong social skills. I started working a minimum wage job at Subway so many years ago. And I gotta tell you guys, total loser going into the shop. Seriously, nothing went for me. It was just bad, okay? And so because of that, I started to realize, whoa, I gotta have a change in my life. I gotta start to connect with people. And so what I did was I got this job, and the goal of it was to have personal development, to have success. The paycheck's great, minimum wage is awesome. Honestly, if you guys are starting out anywhere, I talk about this on YouTube, I talk about this all over the place. A minimum wage job will seriously change your financial life, especially if you're young and you're just starting out, because you can take that money and invest it in yourself through education, invest it in assets through the stock market, invest it through all these amazing tools that create a ridiculous amount of financial return for just a small unit of investment. And it's so powerful because you use that as a tool for overarching growth, right? So, for instance, if you want to invest in books, right, you got to have some cash flow. If you want to invest in courses, you got to have some cash flow. If you want to invest in any educational products, it's like looking at college, right? Except instead of saving for years and years and years for college, for maybe more of a specialized, but a degree type education where it's based on a very, very specific field. If you want to learn a marketable skill, a trade skill, hey, I want to hit this class on personal development, I want to take this class on technical analysis, whatever it is that you want, you can turn that into a reality by studying under people that are in the marketplace and actually doing it. So for me, that means a lot of investments in marketing classes, right? It meant a lot of early on investments in finance classes. But the way I found out about those finance classes was not through actual monetary investments, but rather, I was working my job at Subway, and after hours or early in the morning, I would find time, one way or another, to get up and start researching and learning, because there weren't very many classes I could take that could shortcut my learning, right? There wasn't really a way for me to turn those decades into days through mentorships or partnerships or courses or masterminds. So because I had to invest my time into education, which is totally cool, right? But it's just a fundamental difference than investing capital. With capital, you have leverage with capital, you have something of value in the marketplace, and you can use that to fundamentally shift. On your right, hey, thanks guys, you're the best, I appreciate it. The impact that you have based on the work that you've done, right? So, for instance, if it costs like $100 to join a course, and if you would take you like 1,000 hours to understand everything in the course, and at the same level of mastery as the person teaching it, like, does it make more sense for you to spend 1,000 hours learning it, or does it make more sense for you to just work and get $100, right? And so that was a really big paradigm shift that I had early on in my investing and educational career. It started about 2 years ago. I finally transitioned away from personal finance and investing, and specifically looking at writing the first book, publishing, marketing, and growth, and all that kind of stuff for the ability to connect and grow. And that was powerful. That was huge for so many people, and specifically for the growth aspect of your leveraging other people and their insights, which is super powerful. But moreover, right, it's this idea of social skills, right? So how does that relate to social skills? Well, what's cool is like you can take classes in social skills, right? So you do that, and all of a sudden you can like ridiculously shortcut the time it takes. So stuff like the Carnegie courses, books, stuff like that, those are invaluable. They're insane. And so this ability that you have in the marketplace to leverage the work that people spent years and years doing and learn from it. So great example. So after Subway, right, we were there for about a year, and it was super cool, right? You're learning all the things you could ever want to know about connecting with people, getting in front of them. There's a massive period of growth in my socialization, right? So with that came this overarching sights of like, hey, look, people are leaving, people are quitting, managers aren't treating it well, and like, everyone I trained was leaving, and I was working like doubles alone, opening and closing, which was like crazy, right? And so I started realizing like you gotta find a way to make stuff happen on your own. You have to figure out how to crush it in the marketplace without reliance of an employer and bring direct value to the marketplace. And that's when I started to learn about stock market, started to learn about assets and investments, and trading 9 to noon, which has fundamentally changed my life ever since. But the basis behind all of that stemmed from development of social skills. So right now, right, I'm working more on growing my businesses and trading 9 to noon, right? So I trade 9 to noon, but that's only 3 hours a day. So I spend the rest of my time working on growing businesses, right? Or doing content for you guys, which is super cool. But that's all part of like an overarching business plan, which integrates into an overarching long-term plan, right? I mean, I'm not doing this for no reason. Like, there's a reason there's a Stock Market Cheese podcast, because I think financial education is freaking important, and I want to get it to people, right? And it's not just like this is, John Wooten's life and blah, 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 blah. Like, the point is that you have a better underlying psychology of how to master your personal finances and crush your investments. And so that's why I want to look at this social skills, because business and investment are very, very closely tied together, and it's a great way, to use business as a way to get a bunch of bank to invest, and then obviously live on those investments, grow those investments, trade those investments, whatever you want to do. It's all based, like, you need capital to start, right? You can't invest $0 and expect to make a return. You double your money on $100, you're making $100. That's awesome for starting out, but like doubling your money is super big deal. So like, why not double, $100,000 instead? And the way you get that starting capital, the most effective way possible, is by opening up a business, right? And using the creative imagination to facilitate the plans to achieve overarching goals and business goals. So like, if you want to get somewhere, you just make it happen by going into the marketplace and saying, this is what I desire, and then going out there and absolutely crushing it by getting exactly what you desire. And the best way to do that, and I'll slow down because I know this is a lot. The best way to do that is to have a team, right? So when I started Monerads, there's no way I could have made what we made and coded what we've done. It's just not possible. And so what I did was I focused much more on creating a team that could do what was needed, creating a system of practices, a business system that facilitated our growth. And so I did that by I got coders, I got lead developers, and brought everyone together, one place, and said, hey, look, this is the goal, this is the reasoning, this is the time frame, this is the plan. Let's, make this happen. And so that's what I did, right? Made it happen. And the reason that word is because I brought a team together, and you brought that team together using social skills, right? So even if you're paying people or employing people, there's still that idea of, if you want to get the best people in your organization, you've got to understand what drives people. You've got to understand how to connect with people. And to maintain those strong relationships, you have to keep pushing, you have to keep going, Whoa, whoa. Oh my gosh. Whoa. And you have to keep developing yourself and your team so everyone's growing and everyone's succeeding at the same time. And the best way to do that is out and have that impact serve the highest and best level for everybody. So it's a team environment and everyone's growing and succeeding together. And so the success is ingrained as part of it's ingrained with their personal achievement. And they keep working harder and harder, not because they get paid for it, not because it's part of the job description, but because they develop a passion for the exact you're developing and you're focusing on. And so it's this idea that you can transfer your energy emotionally and physically into the people that you surround yourself with. And if you surround yourself with people focused on the individual business aspect, all of a sudden, these these partners in your business growth are going to work at a much higher and better level for that end result so that they can achieve the goal, right? And once you achieve the goal, you create value in the marketplace, you create results for other people, and all of a sudden, start to have that cash flow come in, start to have that bank, and that covers your expenses, right? Everything stems from this internal ability to go out there and absolutely crush it. Thank you. And so at the beginning, right, it's super, there's nobody on this road. Important to get the right start with social connections. So for me, like the best way to create friendship, because friendship's huge, right? Especially with team building. If you want everyone on the same page and you want everybody working at their peak efficiency, you gotta develop like a friendship with them all. Thank you. And in that group environment where like they literally feel like they're part of a family, right? It's not just, it's something greater. And it has an impact personally to them because they understand the mission and they also connect with the other people they're working with. They're in a group community with their coworkers. This is the same reason I left Subway, right? I was training a bunch of people and we were working together, but fundamentally, we couldn't stick with it. We couldn't keep going. Thank you. And, whoa. And so the number one thing that kept everyone together was that teamwork. But as people started to leave, stuff messed up. I left that place when everyone was gone because all the relationships ended. And when partners and employees don't see meaning and value in their work on a relational level, which is worth so much more capital in a very large amount of circumstances, all of a sudden, if that connection's gone, they're gone. And that's why you see high turnover rates in systemized jobs like fast food or grocery, like these ideas where you're just working as an assembly line worker and not developing those relationships. It's going to severely hurt your ability to go out there and crush it because people will turn over at much faster rates than if you look at like tech companies, right, where you have strong relationships. And that's especially true like of startups where everyone's closely knit together. They'll have the tightest retention, they'll have the tightest team building because everybody knows that they're an integral part and they're also often taking multiple roles in the company, right? So instead of just doing this one thing, you actually have a broad plethora like of things that you're doing. And so because of that, you have a deeper connection with the success of the company since everyone on there is more involved, more stimulated, and had a higher energy level based almost exclusively on their ability to go out there and absolutely crush it with marketplace investments. And hopefully make it home before it rains. But if not, it's okay. Because I'll tell you what, you can't let rain affect you. You just can't do it. Not a good idea. So, you know, it's not a big deal. You know, it's not a big deal. Except for the fact that I have like this mission. I've tried it, man. I'm good. But it's this idea that like you just push through it and you keep going hard. So with social skills, it's the same thing. If you want to be on your team, you have to incentivize them with high quality relationships. The best way to do that is to add a ridiculous amount of value to the people that you work with. Help them over in all aspects of their life and connect with them outside of the professional sphere to have an impact on their life. So for instance, right? Hey guys, I remember one of my first lead developers. he was a guy that like I went to high school with, right? And I'd known him for so long because he was big in Java and a massive amount of work. He'd just done so much work in server coding and back-end logistics for gaming, right? Which is so cool. Like, you see gaming introducing so many new guys into computers and girls into computer science and systems and data technology, which is awesome because that makes a ridiculous amount of high-level, high-skill, highly specialized, highly valuable positions in the marketplace over an extended period of time. So it's really, really interesting. Like, we're one of the first generations to grow up surrounded by like esports, right, or just general video games, and like it's fundamentally shifted the way a lot of people, hey, thanks, look at technology, and maybe it's reflected in tech stock every day. But it's so cool to see the way that it impacts team collaboration. I remember long time ago, before I ever like even considered changing my life, going from like total loser to losing 50 pounds and gaining social skills, working at Subway, and my pony, oh my God, I'll get to that in a minute. I definitely have time, I'll make it work. But before all of that, before all this business growth, all this finance stuff, all these stocks, I played this game called Team Fortress 2 all the time. Like when I was like 12 or like 12, probably like 14, I was just in video games so hard. And it was mostly because like my dad left when I was 12 and then they got divorced like later. But, or maybe it was, like it was definitely right around that time. And so I went and I tried to like find a way to shelter, emotions and then my personal self, so that like I had an output and I had a way to express growth and had a way to express, dominance in a way that was appropriate. And for me, that stemmed down to, being super passionate and dedicated about video games, right? So if I could be like the best in the world, quote unquote, right? Teenager mindset here for a very long time ago, then I could have control over one aspect of my life. And I've since learned that it's so important to have like, this overarching balance of like health, wealth, and relationships, and using that growth through social skills, exercise, business development, finding new trading. It all comes down to that stuff. But at the time, right, I was like, oh, if I can just do this and be really good at this could be like it. This could be the dream, right? So I focused on that, and I was like, this is the career field. Everybody's just gonna like stream video games and make a bunch of money playing video games. Which, I don't know, man. I was pretty young. So, so I spent so much time, like the dedication and the passion I have for everything I do now. I don't know where it came from. It probably came from this period of my life where I was spending like freaking double-digit hours every day, going hard on very specific aspects of Team Fortress 2, and using that as a way not only to like master team, because teamwork skills are huge, right? So you're in this environment where it's Team Fortress 2, it's based on a team, right? And so everyone would come together, and the biggest impact that anyone would have on the game was always from team growth, and especially when you get up to higher skill levels, which I developed over the course of like a year plus, and just hard every day. I started to get to like invite level almost, which is just it's like a competitive term. Yeah, if you guys are familiar with that, which is super cool. And I was playing on pros and all the. But what happened was you get to this point where it's now based on communication and socialization skills. And so I started to early on, realize that I can be the best guy on the team, quote unquote best guy on the team. But it wouldn't matter if we didn't have somebody leading the group to that victory, right? And for a long time ago, that victory was still super important though, based on this idea that everyone was on the same game, everyone on the same page. But if you weren't synchronized and the other team was synchronized, then we would just have no freaking chance, because it's a team-based game. And if you have that group mentality in whatever you do, which a lot of times once you start to increase that skill, people are crushing it with that team aspect of the game, then all of a sudden, this is why esports are a competition, right? It's all based on those communication skills. And so that's when I first started realizing I had to develop that. I had to go really hard on that aspect of anything I did if I wanted to have massive success in that space and start to grow and keep pushing to that next level. It all came down to my individual ability to create a team atmosphere for everyone to grow. So I started focusing on social skills, started focusing on stuff like humor, Humor is a really, really powerful skill, and I don't have much time today, and I do want to get to that next segment on MLP, but I might have to do that on a different day because this is a really big concept, and I want you guys to take this one away from this episode. What happened was I played TF2 for about 2-3 years, and then I played Overwatch for about a year, and then I just got caught up in stocks. I got caught up in investments, and I just started taking off from there and having massive growth in the cryptocurrency space. And then it's been businesses after that, and it's never gone down since then. It's always been insanely amazing. And I've been really pushing my limits in new ways that are based on these skills that I developed, in this earlier period of my life, which I really wish I had a grasp on my life back then. But unfortunately, I just didn't have that figure to follow, and I didn't know the importance of the mastermind. I didn't know the importance of influence. I didn't know the importance of surrounding yourself with the right people, because I was not surrounding myself with the right people, which sucks. But the cool thing is you have control. And for me, that control came from my ability to withdraw from poor social groups, reorganize myself, and then get into the right environments that'll foster establishing a group of like-minded individuals that kept growing and kept going and kept pushing the limits of what was possible. And that single decision has fundamentally changed my life. So here's the deal. Using humor in teamwork, because humor is super powerful. And if you've taken any sales course or any negotiation course, you can inject just a little bit of humor. It can go a long way. And it's shown a lot. I just had this interview, and I made these guys crack up. How many candidates do you think made them crack up? Very few people, right? So it's this idea that if you can get that deeper social connection with people, you can work with them at a much, much higher and better level. So what I would do is I would get an ocarina, from Zelda Ocarina of Time, this little flute instrument. I learned how to play, and for those of you guys who don't, I play trombone, keyboard, MIDI controller, keypads, and I used to be super huge into those until I realized that I had to specialize, and I picked personal finance and investing, and I went 100,000% in it. But before that, I was big into music, and music, like I've talked about so many times and will always continue to use, is such a fundamental part of my life. It's just changed every aspect of my workflow, my productivity, my growth, my reflection, my internal state of mind and vibrations all come from music, which is so powerful. And I've done so much work around that, but I don't have a lot of time today, so I want to finish this up today and talk to you guys about this ocarina. So I get this ocarina, spend my time learning how to play it, because the deal was I was learning the skills over the course of 3-4 years. I became really, really good at getting a team together and started to move up in ranks because of it, right? We were winning all the time. We were absolutely crushing it in the gaming space just because we had that really strong teamwork, and then obviously that fundamental skill set that just comes with practice. If you practice something enough, you'll freaking crush it. I think in TF2, the rankings were weird. I was definitely at invite, and then I know in Overwatch the rankings were a lot easier to judge, and I was top 500 NA, which was super cool. And then I was working to compete at some of those conferences in Team Fortress, similarly at that top 500 NA level, which was awesome. It was a big passion of mine for a long time until I realized that there was just more out there. And so anyway, I'm using this ocarina, and the purpose of this is to instill humor in that social collaboration, lift up the mood, and push the team to a new level. And what I would do is, you die and you have to respawn, right? And so it takes time, right? So whenever I died, I would get on the mic and I would just play a song, just a happy, upbeat song on the flute or on the ocarina. And it's a lot better than trombone, keyboard, or whatever, because the ocarina is such a happy instrument. It sounds if you guys have never heard ocarina, basically it's a flute, but 10 times higher pitch, and then it's a very consistent pitch too. So it's a distance. It's very powerful. It's a nice instrument for just some fun. So I started playing song after song. I'd play 10, 20 songs, and I didn't really know the instrument, but I learned the song, and that's the basic. You learn that 80%, that 20% is going to produce 80% of the results. So I wasn't so much worried about the top 10% or the top 20% of the super advanced stuff. I just wanted to get fun across. What I started doing, what happened, people would work with me, and they would come together, we'd have our team, And what was super, super cool is that like I started getting known for that, and especially in the competitive community, which is smaller, it started to grow and grow and grow. And what happened is like it would be an inspiration for the team. The team would come together around it, and then that group mentality would grow, and everyone would be part of this overarching movement of like winning joyfully as a group with music, right? And the music would influence people not necessarily to try harder, fight better, but more importantly, to get on the same pace, the same page, get in the same rhythm of the game. So everyone would be connected and at the same aurora, if that makes sense. The idea is that instead of having like, it's 6 people, right? So instead of having 6 people just scattered across everywhere trying to do their own thing, you bring everyone together. Obviously, you can do that through traditional management, traditional leadership, but a very powerful way to get your core desires together and get everybody on the same page, playing the same game, is to use a tool like humor, which you can create through funny music. You can create it through funny gags, funny insights. It took me about a month to learn the ocarina, and I think it's a tool that anybody can use to drastically increase the productivity of the workplace by increasing just this like little random humor aspect. Like nobody plays the ocarina like ever. And so it's this idea that you're integrating a third party, completely unrelated device into your team building and into your growth. And you can, use that as fuel for a collective group movement, right? So everyone is on the same overarching status with each other, and they're synchronized in their actions, right? So, if people die and they know that people are like dying, they'll hear the music, right? And similarly, if we kill their whole team, play a little celebration song, say happy birthday to someone, stuff like that. And it's this idea of just injecting a little bit of fun to inspire people to go just a little bit harder with whatever they're doing and be a little bit happier. Because joy and happiness, that's what people play for. That's what people go to work for. They go to work, partially for money, but moreover, it's to find that purpose in their lives. And people are going to, people work for less money when they're happy with where they're working and it's a joyful environment. And so if you can create that for them, all of a sudden, you're going to have better output, better productivity, better growth, better standards for everyone. Because you master this individual ability to connect with your group, to connect with your team, and to get them so closely aligned through the magic of music, through the magic of humor, through the magic of anything that brings them together. Be it like daily team meetings. Daily team meetings are huge, right? Especially in sales organizations, this idea that everyone comes together every weekday at, 8:35. When that happens, you get the synchronization of everyone in the organization, and all of a sudden, we're on the same page, they're on the same level, and they're absolutely crushing it. So hey, take this information, apply it, go out there, have an amazing day. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks so much. Bye.
Want more stock market secrets? If so, go get your free copy of my best-selling book, 9 to Noon. You can get your free copy plus $11,176 of unannounced bonuses it took me years to uncover, completely for free at 9tonoonsecrets.com. Inside 9 to Noon, you'll find the top 38 secrets you can use to double your portfolio every 2 years and make upwards of 10% per trade daily.